Peace and blessings. Welcome back to another Aaron Graham, private personal protection. Also advocate for mental health awareness as well. Happy Wednesday, Felice Marcolas. How's it going? Come on, Tavell. I like to put positive vibes out into the universe, and by doing so, I read from my daily book of inspiration, written by Sarah Young, called Enjoying Peace in His Presence, Jesus Calling. Today is November the 11th, 2025, and this is the reading for today. For those of you who are hearers, readers and doers of His Word, let this be a blessing to you all for the day of November the 12th. This is a time of abundance in your life. Your cup runneth over with blessings. After plodding uphill for many weeks, you are now trespassing through lush meadows drenched in warm sunshine. I want you to enjoy the full of this time of ease and refreshment. I delight in private I delight in providing it for you. Sometimes my children hesitate to receive my good gifts with open hands, feeling of false guilt creep in, telling them they don't deserve to be so richly blessed. This is nonsense thinking because no one deserves anything from me. My kingdom is not about earning and deserving, it is about believing and receiving. When a child of mine balks at accepting my gifts, I am deeply grieved. When you receive my abundant blessings with a grateful heart, I rejoice. My pleasure is giving, and your pleasure is receiving, flowing together in joyous harmony. This reading was inspired by the book of Psalms, chapter 23, verse 5. Also, the book of John and King James Version, the book of John, chapter 3, verse 16. Also, this reading for today was inspired by the book of Luke, chapter 11, verse 9 through 10. And last but never the least, it was inspired as well by the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 32. And this is the reading for today of November the 12th. Fact or fiction? When a child of mine bulk and accepted my gifts, I am deeply grieved. When you move, when you receive my abundant blessings with a grateful heart, I move, I rejoice. My pleasure is giving, and your pleasure is receiving. Live together in joyous harmony. It's a pretty powerful word for today. We all often feel undeserved, undesired. This world can beat you up and tear your mind down, have you feeling inadequate. Also, for the lack thereof, incompetent. But that's not what we are to be focused on. We all lack from time to time because we are created to be dependent on our Creator. Do not let any set of circumstances intimidate you. The more challenging your day, the more of my power I place at your disposal. You seem to think that I empower you equally each day, but this is not so. Your tendency upon waking is to access the difficulties ahead of you, measuring them against your average strength. This is an exercise in unreality. I know what each of your days will contain, and I empower you accordingly. The degree to which I strengthen you on a given day is based mainly on two variables: the difficulty of your circumstances and your willingness to depend on me for help. Try to view challenging days as opportunities to receive more of my power than usual. Look to me for all that you need, and watch to see what I will do. As your day, so shall your strength be. Sometimes we got to go moment by moment just calling on the Lord because sometimes the battles are so intense that you can't really focus, you can't think, you can't seem to have any peace of mind, peace of presence, peace of thereof. And this is just a reminder to let you know that I know what each of your days will contain, and I empower you accordingly. Don't worry about being incompetent. Worry about being incomplete because the degree to which I strengthen you on a given day is based mainly on two variables: the difficulty of your circumstances and your willingness to depend on me for help. So every day we have difficulties of our circumstances. That's one part of the problem that we all agree on, that we all experience. The next problem that we all choose to acknowledge is not depending on the Lord for help. We seem to know everything. We seem to have all the answers. We seem to love being in control. And sometimes that mindset puts us in worse circumstances that we are currently experiencing. We feel like we have the answers. We know the route. We know what solutions for our problems, the problems that we sometimes create and don't create, but endure. These are two things the Lord is waiting on us and watching us to see how we respond. He knows the difficulties we face, but he don't know if we're going to call on him for help or if we're going to take these matters into our own hands. Nevertheless, either way it goes, Jesus is calling to enjoy peace in his presence, to allow you to allow him to take care of your battles. And that's what this is about. This reading was from the book of Ephesians chapter 1, verse 18 through 20, inspired by the book of Psalms chapter 105, verse 4, and last but never the least, the book of Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 25. This was the reading for yesterday of November the 11th. Do not let any set of circumstances intimidate you. It's a very powerful reading for today. Yesterday, I was thinking about circumstances, being inadequate, being unpowered, having a moment of uncertainty, unclarity. Investing, right? Any investor knows when you invest, you need to wait on the return of investment, ROI. With that being said, it's quite difficult from time to time. Being an entrepreneur, you strategize, you plot, plan. Sometimes those things take time to figure those things out. Nevertheless, sometimes you just need a little stress relief. Sometimes you have too much pride to ask for help, and sometimes you just don't know what to do as far as moving forward to deal with stress, manage stress and anxiety. These things happen. These things creep in, and not being able to handle these things, you would often dip into your investments, slowing your profits down, and different things like that, right? And with the government shut down, EBT closed, the lifelines that we usually rely on and depend on are not there anymore, driving people to feel a certain way, which is acceptable. But nevertheless, being emotional intelligent is about controlling how you feel when you feel it, not allowing the circumstances of this world to dictate who you are and who you to become in the way that you act and respond. I was doing a lot about signs and symbols, a lot about the cults, a lot about mindset. That's why I advocate for mental health awareness. It's a lot about mindset. Mindset is really the key ingredients to success, the key ingredients to lifestyle, the key ingredients to experiences in the world. I heard something very powerful yesterday from All Things Jenny channel. Go check her out. She's very awesome. Has a lot of very good information for those of you who are looking to be enlightened, to learn, or who just curious about life. You want a different point of view to see things the way that other people see things. Nevertheless, I said that to say this: signs and symbols matter. Just because you feel a certain way about a sign, a symbol, just because you take it and create it and make it something personal doesn't mean it takes away the true meaning of what it is, right? Signs and symbols are a language, it's universal language. For someone who can't speak, they know the sign of love. The universal sign of love is a heart. Now, everybody understands that, right? It's a symbol, it's a sign, it's a message, it's the way that we communicate. Nevertheless, like I said, just because we like to take things and make it personal to us, I could take any sign and symbol and change it to what I want it to mean, doesn't mean that it changed the actual meaning of what it is. If I take a heart, I'm very popular, and I say, okay, now this is the sign for uh, fire, right? People look at it crazy. Some people might run with ideas. Some people might really feel that this is it. But nevertheless, it doesn't take away from what it is, right? And why do I say that? Why am I bringing this stuff up? Because mental health awareness has a lot to do with signs and symbols. If you didn't know, I will tell you now that media, social media, all forms of entertainment, all forms of marketing, they all deal with symbols and signs. Whether you are aware or unaware, these signs and symbols are programming the conscious mind to receive a certain message, right? And one thing about signs and symbols and marketing, why I brought that up, was because if you wasn't aware or if you didn't know, um, a lot of these corporations, they don't only spend money on marketing and advertising, they spend money on sciences. Different people who scientists, they spend money on scientists, they spend money on philosophers and psychology. What is psychology? Psychology is the study of the mind. If you understand the mind, you can manipulate the mind, you can control the mind. That's why psychology is big. Why a lot of um, philosophers like to get into psychology, because they like to understand the human mind, the way that people think, the similarities, the differences, the differences, or whatever, right? Anyway, nevertheless, right? What these scientists do, they understand how the mind works and they understand how to manipulate the mind as far as colors, signs, symbols, and different things like that. And they use these things in their marketing, like the colors red and blue. They catch attention. They're popular colors. That's why a lot of things in the world, as far as advertising, either red or blue, like Burger King, McDonald's, Wendy's, right? You see all these red colors in it. You see Burger King has blue, um, Pep Boys, Walmart, right? These are colors for a reason. This isn't no coincidence. Everything is by design. It's designed to catch your attention, to lead you over here to come shop and spend a little money. That's just one sign of psychology and sciences and science, how they use these things to manipulate the mind and control the mind, to control your actions, right? Um, as far as subliminal messages, they know the cardinal mind is basically like a computer. You see things all day, you take data all day, you analyze it, you shuffle it, and it becomes your reality, something that you understand, right? Nevertheless, it comes a time where the cardinal mind needs a break to calculate all these things that is being downloaded. It's just like a computer, right? You want certain software, you want certain programs, you're going to download them. And once you give it a little time to download, you can now access and utilize these softwares or programs. Just like you access and download a new talent, a new skill, right? It's the same thing. You take a little time to learn these things, you utilize these things, and that becomes a new habit, a new skill, a new trait, or whatever. It becomes embedded in your DNA and who you are and who you are to become, depending on how you use this new knowledge. Um, the same way with the carnal mind. You get it, you give it a little time, receive the downloads, whatever, right? But also, like a computer in the cardinal mind, you cram too much information in this thing at once, it's going to overload. It's going to shut down. It's going to take a little break. It's going to force itself to break, right? And that's what it does. The mind, the cardinal mind, is similar as a computer. But the subconscious mind is similar, but it never shuts down. It's always analyzing what the cardinal mind couldn't pick up, and it's continuously working overtime behind the scenes. But what you're aware of, you automatically know, like, okay, this is something that I have put into my mind. It's a message I receive. I understand the download. I can move with it. Vice versa, on the unseen sign, the signs and symbols that you see throughout the day, they're processing in your subconscious mind, telling you these messages that you didn't really pick up in the conscious mind. Entertainment, music, all of these sources of uh, programming, right? TV, music, uh, movies, whatever. When they're constantly subliminally telling you things about chaos, death, destruction, you go about your day wondering why you feel energy drained, because these energy parasites are consciously, subconsciously putting in your mind these things, these images, these vibes, these emotions that drains you. And when you're sleeping, your subconscious mind is now collecting the messages, receiving the messages, and now it's a situation where you're not sure if this is how you feel or if it's how it's a disturbance in your frequency, right? The aura field. We all have an energetic aura field where we repel certain energies or we attract certain energies, depending on how conscious you are. And certain things abrupt your aura field, and certain things strengthen it, right? Just like if you're conscious enough, you can know certain things. Like you can go by what they call it intuition. When your intuition is strong, is because you have a clean aura field and you are balancing it out with the things that you need, the things that you don't need, replenish it. That's why rest is important. You have to refresh yourself. You have to, rebalance your aura field. This some stuff is scientific, some stuff is spiritualistic, but all of these things are hand in hand as far as duality and balance. Um, Fact or fiction. This is what I really want to share with y'all. Let's get into this. It's pretty dope. Hold on, real quick. I was just let's get cut. Um, Pursuit of happiness. I love that title because it's a constant pursuit. Some of y'all think, "Oh, I'm not happy." Are you pursuing happiness? It's something attainable, yes, but it's not nothing that you achieve and just hold on to for the rest of your life. Just like good health and prosperity, these things are possible to obtain, but you have to maintain it. Maintenance is key. I want to see this one. That's what I wanted to share y'all about. This dude had a Bigfoot hiding in his house for a while. So yeah, when you get wealthy, I mean, a lot of this stuff we're gonna watch them all at one at a time. But nevertheless, let's check this out real quick. TikTok glitch, and I heard about this too. They saying that it's on. So
All right, y'all. So
before I cut them off, and then I'll let them finish. When I was, they basically demonetized my account. So I was like, I'm not finna continuously work for free, right? Especially I couldn't get back into my account. So I'm like, whatever. I'll just let that be that. I had the experience. It was nice. I loved it. But I'm not finna be wasting my time redoing what I've done. I've had that experience. I've accomplished it. Goal complete. What I don't like about that is they took all my videos and the little money I had, and I realized that they can do that at any time. I was like, I gotta find a way to protect my work, protect my image, and protect everything that I have going on, especially my sources of income, because that was just one source of income. But anyway, people was talking about when they record a video, right? And this is this year. This year it happened to me as far as my account being taken away earlier the year, probably like January, February when I even realized it because I was working on other projects besides TikTok. Anyway, you can find me on any platform, Team Angie LLC or Wi-Fi Wealth with Angie. Nevertheless, though, just 2 months ago, people was like they're recording on TikTok and then they go review their video, but the person that's on the video is them, but it's not them. It's kind of weird, right? And then that's just one experience people were having with TikTok. Another experience is where there was the person in the video or just somebody random, not somebody random, which is sound crazy, right? Now, you'll figure out why in a minute. Somebody had inboxed them, DM them, whatever, right? Saying, "Hey, I'm you from the future or from somewhere, but basically I am you." And they know a little stuff about you or whatever, whatever, right? And then this happened to like 2 to 3 people. So I was like, wow, that's kind of weird. I'm not sure how I would react or respond to a situation like that, but this is what people are saying they've experienced using TikTok this year. What this is about, I don't know. But let's get into it. Maybe it's about what I've just mentioned. Maybe it's about something new. But nevertheless, let me know what you guys have been experiences, what your experiences have been while using TikTok this year. Have you noticed anything different about your videos, about you on video, or has anyone weird been messaging you about being you, knowing exclusive?
this woman posted a TikTok, right? And as she's editing the TikTok, she realizes that she's doing stuff on the video that she didn't actually do in
Also,
real
yeah, this
life.
is
It's
it.
really hard to explain.
Y'all be
Let me just
careful.
play the video
Be
and
really,
hopefully
really
you can
careful.
understand what's going on because this is wild.
I'm like literally in tears right now because this is the weirdest shit. I was filming a TikTok. I was talking the whole time. I was talking the whole entire time. And it just gets to a point where it just stops. You hear where I'm talking. You can see here where I'm talking.
To be able to attend that a lot of the times, like
those students just want the HBCU experience. They want to hang out in the hood. They want to be around hood activity. To God, what the I was talking in the camera and it literally just stops and it has me doing that. I have no idea what this is. I was not doing this, guys. I was talking.
So, man, we've been had this conversation. I can't even remember how many times at this point. We are in some very deceptive times, if you have not noticed. And it's only going to continue to increase. Now, I've never seen a situation quite like what she described and showed us, to where you post a video and she said she was talking the entire time. In the editing self, the AI just said, all right, I'm gonna do my own thing. Like, I know you posted a video of yourself doing something that actually really happened, but I'm just gonna do my own thing. And I'm just
Really, really is. I mean, think about it, right? You're using this platform, you're recording, but also being recorded by AI software, the TikTok platform, and this is for educational purposes and entertainment purposes as well. None of this is fact, this is all it is. But carrying on, right? You doing this for entertainment purposes, you trying to present a message, a webinar, or whatever, you have something important to say. Never like what she was saying about HBUs, what she probably was getting into sororities and how all of this stuff ties back into Skull and Bones, allegedly. And who is Skull and Bones? The original Illuminati, the original Freemasons, the original Baphomet worshippers, the original Luciferians. All of this, and I'm gonna break it down too. In 1777, Skull and Bones was formatted in New York. Was it in New York? I believe. I believe so. In Yale, basically they had their little college. They still had their building over there in Yale's college. Wait, I'm talking about Skull and Bones. Yeah, back in basically the 1700s when they were formed. And so I got this wrong. Pardon me. Let me back up just a little bit. Skull and Bones is not the originators. It's Knights Templar. And they were out since the 1600s, the late 1600s, almost 1700s. And they are the original Illuminati, Freemasons, whatever, whatever. Everything came from them. And this is all alleged. Knights Templar was the first secret society that was the Baphomet worshippers, and then they brought that down into different fractions. And then those different fractions had the different fractions, and everybody basically, started splitting off into like that. But anyway, why I brought that up is because the Greeks, right? They were made from the Freemasons. They came down to New York. They started the Fraternity of the Greeks, which was another fraction. And the Greeks basically was a all male fraternity because if you didn't know, Skull and Bones was all male. That was the first time they added women to these secret societies, and that's where the KKK came from. Because at this moment when they started, this was like the 1900s when this started happening, when the KKK came around, because they integrated women, they integrated black folks. The first black boule was created. The first black Freemasons was accepted, and then they had their own little thing, the boule, whatever, right? All of these branches started branching off because of societies was starting to expose secrets, and they had to clean house. But anyway, the Greeks, they branched off to the alphas, the whatever, I don't know all of these fraternities, y'all know, but basically that's what she was talking about. I believe she was going to expose on the roots of all of this stuff, whether you don't know or whether you do know. You're pledging to these Greek gods, well, I'm gonna get too far into it, but anyway, right? She was probably finna start exposing that lifestyle for those of you college kids who not sure about being a leader. not sure about who to follow. This is very, very important in spiritual warfare. It's enticing, the limelights is cool, it's uh, flashing for your attention. It's a distraction. It's a distraction to steal your faith and take your soul. Once you bound to these things, your word is law. Your word is powerful. The world was created by words. So be careful on what you're agreeing to with your words because not all agreements are to help you live a spiritually free life. Back to what I was saying as far as the AI and stuff, right? The watchers, the recorders. So before she got paused, she was saying the HBCU, which I heard that quite clear, and I could run it back, but whatever, right? You can run this video back and hear it for yourself. Anyway, once she started speaking the truth, they paused her and they started just making her do whatever. How did that happen? I don't know. Was that really her? I don't know. Is this stuff possible? Obviously, you can see. But my thing is, and this is for entertainment purposes as well, what can you do with this type of information? What can you do with this type of technology, right? Why is this even the case? Why is it being exposed now? Hold on, pardon me. Hello? Yeah, yeah, I'm in the garage right now. I bet. Oh. So yeah, right. Imagine what you can do with this type of technology. As you can see, the government shut down. People didn't react and respond as they thought, as far as being able to unleash the national security, the national guards, and all of that. As far as they did in Chicago and these other cities, people not cutting up like they used to. People not cutting up like they expected to. And I'll get back into skull and bones in a minute. Why signs and symbols are important. You know, the skull, the X bones, the arm, and the leg. Why is it gray? What does this stuff mean? It means this knowledge, right? Knowledge is power, and this is the three chord fold. Why the number three is important? Why, right? Now I'll let you know. The mind, right? The mind is where you first have thoughts. Why the woman in the Bible or the woman in the world is always demonized and seem like the problem because the woman is powerful in this three chord fold. So you have Jesus, you have God, the mother, and then Jesus. And what this means is God is the mind, the creator. The mother is the emotion. So when you have a thought, right? And these how the three things work. And I'm gonna break down the skull and bones in a minute. So you have the mind, you have the emotion, and then you have the awareness, right? So in the mind, you create a situation. The mother makes you feel, is this situation a good thing to embark in or is it bad? And with that being in mind, you have awareness to act, which is Christ consciousness itself. So these are the three things. And what they like to do is take away is why I said with the skull and bones, right? You have the skull, which is the mind, the emotion, which is gray, meaning you have no emotions. You're a gray dull space, right? There's no color to it. So you take away the emotion, you take away the feeling of your thoughts. And therefore you don't feel, you just think and you just do, which is the awareness part, which is the arm and the leg. You're going to act on what you think. Therefore, it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong because you have no feelings to it. That's why the skull is at the top and the arm and leg, which is the cross, the bones. And that's why it's all in gray. Because in this society, you think and you do. You don't worry about if it's right or wrong. Do what thy will. That's what their whole thing is about. And that's really what the Trinity is about. It's about the mind, the emotions, and the awareness to act on that mind, to act on those feelings, right? When you take out the woman, you take away wisdom. Women is wise. Women is wisdom in physical form. That's why you like, oh, women intuition is strong. Yes, it is because women is wise and women are wisdom. And when women tap into themselves, they are wise and they can share wisdom. A woman intellect is because a woman is that spirit. When God created wisdom, it wasn't just a thing, it was an actual person named Sophia. And when Sophia messed up with the trying to create, this is what the whole spiritual war, how it started or whatever. A part of her was Eve that came to help. And she's wisdom in the physical form as well. And of course, they like to demonize the women because they don't want you to know about this part. They don't want you to tap into your feminine side, which is a part of the balance. Men and women, we were all once one person, one spirit, one entity. And we create in duality, right? We create together. The same way as God. God was creating with wisdom, creating with woman. They was creating together. It wasn't no solo thing. Anyway, uh, back to this technology, right? For those of you who are children of the light, who are spreading light and truth, this type of technology is to stop you. Those who follow Christ will be persecuted. What am I talking about, right? With this technology, how is she being persecuted? How can it happen, right? Imagine this, and we're going to get out of fantasy world in just a bit. With that video she just recorded, imagine if it could talk for her as well and say a whole bunch of anti-Semitic rhetoric, because you know that's a new word they put out to help these people of a certain nation, of a certain race, do as they please without any backlash, without any accountability, without anybody saying anything about it, because therefore you be anti-Semitic. And or if you're an influencer and you can lead people to be this way, to think this way, to think freely, you can use that technology to make them say any type of rhetoric to mislead the people and, put yourself in jail. So therefore you won't have to be able to say anything at all anymore. Also, with these videos of people who are out here for entertainment saying they're going to go and use their 5 finger discount at the stores if their EBTs are back on. Imagine they put your face on this person, and also they put your face on that person running out the store with stuff because you're using this platform, and they have that technology to make you do as they please. Just like you seen this girl, she said she wasn't moving, she wasn't doing this and that, so she said. I don't know to believe her or not, but I don't think nobody needs the likes or attention that much where they're going to create some type of story like this. Not saying that people don't, because they do, and some people have good stories to tell. They're good storytellers. But with this, I don't know. I'm not sure. It's just something to be aware and alert of. Fact or fiction? You let me know. Is this a real situation going on, or are people joining the bandwagon with the story time because it's getting a little attention?
Insane. I saw another story closely related where this woman, her likeness was stolen by AI, and they used
Now that's what I was just saying. Like, imagine if it happened. Imagine, right? No longer need to imagine, because it has happened, and it is happening. Now check out this situation that has happened to.
AI stole my likeness and created a deep fake ad of me promoting erectile dysfunction pills. Let's talk about it. This actually happened when I was on my honeymoon, so I was taking time.
But CapCut, they have permission to use your name and likeness. So be mindful and be aware of these programs using, because it's so popular. People like to use them and hurry up, create content, whatever, right? They're switching up their policies. And if you're not careful, read through, or to be informed on what's going on with the world and with the world's technology, you can easily sign up for this type of situation to happen. One thing I know about CapCut, they have the rights to do this to you. So be mindful if you're using CapCut and you see yourself out in a video or advertisement or whatever, and you didn't approve of what's going on, or that image of you being shown. You giving that permission over to CapCut. And this is alleged purposes. I mean, this is entertainment purposes as well. I mean, it's sad that you got to say that, but I mean, I'm not creating these software programs and products to be able to steal you and make you do ads for me or whatever, right? I'm not doing that type of stuff. I don't need to.
Just share the story time with you. I have videos that people had sent me of this ad. I'm going to show you one on my computer. Things that I had gone through in the years prior. My old apartment in Austin, wearing my clothes, talking about their pill. The only thing is it wasn't my voice. Sharing this little video clip with you probably isn't smart in terms of, giving them more attention, but I actually think it's super important to talk about because we are now entering this era of living our lives online to where we need to question everything we see, because someone that you know could be in a video saying something to you, looks exactly like them, and it could be completely fabricated. Okay, I'm going to play a couple seconds of this ad, but do be warned. Obviously, there's mentions of sexual things, so
embarrassing moments. Michael spent years having a lot of difficulty maintaining an erection and having a very small.
Isn't that crazy? It is crazy. I honestly don't know how we as a society can be like more discerning as to being able to tell what is real and what is fake. The internet is changing fast. I guess trust no one, believe nothing on the internet is just a motto to live by for a while.
AI singer is charting on the Billboard charts. Like, she got signed to a multi-million-dollar Gail was actually asking some very good questions.
Got her,
And then it seemingly just disappears.
oh yeah, I hate that.
What the heck is going on? Here it is.
Kalani has been very outspoken. I know you've seen her. Nothing and no one on earth will ever be able to justify AI to me, especially in the creative arts, in which I'm sorry, I don't respect it. That's part of her criticism. Also, maybe she should write a poetry book. I'd love to support a good poet. I can't paint, so I'm not going to create AI paintings and sell them, taking up space from up and coming painters. What do you say to that? Because I hear that and I understand that criticism.
Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Technology is evolving. Everybody have different ways of putting in work to get to where they're at. I don't feel a way about it. I still love Kalani music. I still listen to her every day.
There was also some controversy because people thought, okay, if she's an AI, what if it isn't a black woman? What if it's, for instance, a white man could take this and do this?
Yeah, I heard that a lot.
Yeah, would that be okay? Would that be okay?
I mean, if they created it.
But it seems to open the door that way, or a black person pretending to be a white rocker, you know, and they're not.
Right.
I could see why people could be offended and worried about that.
Definitely.
Do you see that?
I do.
So I think it's a very good point that Gail is bringing up, which is the deception. And you know what? In her case of Zania, how do you say her name? Zana. In her case, I'm not that upset about it. I can understand. And listen, I'm not a musician. I'm not like an artist who knows how to play or perform. And she's actually revealing herself. She's not hiding behind a computer screen. She's not hiding behind a keyboard. She's actually revealing who she is. Destroy reputations. We're going to see this tool used for very dark and demonic ways. And I want to say something, because I made a video previously and I said, I think the title was something like AI is the most demonic thing that we have ever created. And I think that's true. But I want to clarify. I don't think AI into how people are programming it. This is all tied into how people are training these models.
Very true. But at the end of the day, it's all about spending time in his presence. What spirits are you entertaining, you know? Are you with the Holy Spirit that's going to lead you to truth and guide you to light? I mean, these things can be a problem. They can be used to corrupt. But if you're prayed up, you have good intentions, you shouldn't have nothing to worry about. Also, these things are figure outable, you know, just like the pursuit of happiness. You can pursue these things to figure them out, have new skills at the end of the day, learn how to generate prompts and different things like that. Get comfortable with AI. You know, it's not a tool to use to scare you, to take over your lifestyle. It's something that's used and can be used for advancement as far as a little bit of information, creating new technology and different things like that. Like the lady who used it for music, I believe that's a really good idea. It's a really good situation, you know. That's creative thinking. Why not, right? You're successful with it, you get signed, it's still you at the end of the day. But depending on who you are as a person, that's how far you get with technology. And if you're not sure how to use it, if you should use it, I encourage you to spend time alone and pray and be led to the things that are for you. If AI is something for you, use it for your advantage because it's here, right? If not, figure out a way to compete with it because people are getting more advanced and more tech skills, more tech savvy because the information is available through AI and or free private, free or private courses. If you want to learn more about how to use AI, get comfortable, join my live mentorship. Links in the chat. Free blueprint copy. And yeah, I see you guys on the other side of success. Let me know what you think about this new wave and the new direction that the world is headed in as far as the use of AI and technology and